The Nicole Small Show, where we give you straight talk with no chaser. Here, we discuss issues from the White House to your house. And now, here's your host, Nicole Small.
Good morning. Welcome to the Nicole Small Show. Before I forget, because I forgot yesterday, Saturday, September the 11th, we will be having a jazzy afternoon with special artist Sky Covington. She will be doing a live performance. That's from 3 to 5 p.m. and it will be outside the campaign headquarters, 19600 West McNichols. That's at the corner of Anchester. That is 3 blocks west of Evergreen. The tickets are only $20. If you buy them online, there is it's a $3 or $5 service fee. I forgot. My apologies. But we do have people you can purchase tickets from. That should be posted online today. You could contact one of them and get a ticket. Listen, we're trying to raise money for a campaign mailer. We definitely need a mailer to reach a larger base of voters. So please come out and support. We'll have a good time. Refreshments will be served. Just come out and support. The artist is great. Sky Covington, she is phenomenal. So you'll definitely enjoy her artistry that day. Again, it is September the 11th from 3 to 5 p.m. 19600 West McNichols. Even if you can't come out, buy a ticket for somebody else, buy a ticket for a couple somebody else's to support a great cause. We are really serious about pushing forward to have meaningful change in this city government. And the only way we could do it is if we come together. So again, that is September the 11th. That is a Saturday, a jazzy afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m. Also, September the 18th, we are having a fundraiser at I'll mention that later after next week. We'll mention the other one later. And then September the 9th, there's another fundraiser. Got to get these dollars up. Definitely have to do that. There's another fundraiser. It's a dinner and auction fundraiser, September the 9th, and it's at Quite Nice at 16340 Grand River. That is 16340 Grand River. There are a lot of opportunities for you to help support this campaign, or you can simply go online at electnicolesmall.com. electnicolesmall.com is another option. You can click donate. You can go right to the ActBlue. We're definitely accepting donations. A few things I do want to talk about. Really, what is the difference? And I guess I should have been more clear for Detroiters. Do we really play into party politics or only when it's convenient? But before I do that, let me say this. I had a good time yesterday out canvassing and actually doing campaign events, and people are hilarious. Let me tell you something that I learned. And these are from our seasoned citizens. I learned that they really are being taken advantage of. Let me say that. They are severely being taken advantage of, and it's disheartening, right? It's disheartening. The lack of engagement, the level of dismissiveness around our high propensity voters is shocking. Let me say that. It's shocking. And I think that what'll happen is if they are reached more, we will have some change, right? We will have some change. We have to make sure we have meaningful conversations, but there's a lot of work to be done in order to carry this lift across the city. Let me be clear. This general election is a whole new election. That's what some people don't understand. It's a whole new fresh start. And until you understand that, then otherwise you're going to be just back in the wind. We have an opportunity for some change, but it's going to take for us to collectively come together. I know with us today, we will be meeting to make sure that we take a look at everyone who signed up to volunteer, to make sure that we're plugging them into the areas and their availability and the things that they want to do. That is really important. But We have some people that want change. It's just motivating them to get them out here. We have a very short window of opportunity. That part I keep saying. A very short window of opportunity. We don't take advantage of it, a lot more will be lost. That's exactly what will happen. A lot more will be lost. You think that we've lost a lot in these last 8 years and this last decade? Well, just keep waiting, because nobody's coming to save us. That part I keep telling you. So let's talk about Detroiters and party politics. So of course, we know the majority of Detroiters, they vote Democratic. That's fine. I think that you should vote in your best interest. That I support. But if you notice, remember when John James ran for office, you had quite a few Detroiters, Black people especially, because the majority of us vote Democratic too. I know not everyone, but the majority of us do. But John James, he did get quite a bit of support from the city of Detroit. He even gave Gary Peters a run for his money, because Gary was nervous. You can tell he was nervous. Then you have Chief Craig that's running for office. But I was thinking about something. You have politicians who are how can you vote for Trump? How can you vote for a Republican? I'd never vote for James Craig. I'd never vote for John James, right? But you'll vote for Mayor Duggan and council people who continuously support Dan Gilbert and Mike Duggan. I need you to explain that to me, because we need to better understand how this thing is working out. You will be up in arms about someone who votes for a Republican, but you will vote for those who are fueling the agenda of a Republican. You know what I mean by fueling their agenda? You give them what they want so they stay here. If you want change and you want these people to stop what they're doing, the people who are so-called they and a part of the oppression of our people, then start sticking together and making change, and then they'll go away. Because then this will no longer be the path to least resistance. But so you have council people who continue to approve dollars, land, and other resources that benefit these people, like the Dan Gilberts, the Mike Duggans of the city in the city of Detroit. Don't even live here, but in the city of Detroit, to be able to further their agenda to disempower and to disenfranchise the most vulnerable communities. I need somebody to make sense of that. Why do you support these people who are supporting their agenda that doesn't benefit us? It only does us harm. But you claim that you don't support Republicans. Yes, you do support Republicans, because you're supporting the supporters of the Republicans. Did you see how much money Dan Gilbert just gave Donald Trump when he ran? Did you see how much money Blue Cross gave Trump? Did you see how much money DTE gave Trump? Do you see how many benefits come across the table at city council and through the mayor's office for these same people? But you don't support, you do support Republicans, because you support these people who are supporting the Republicans. You endorse these people who endorse the Republicans. That's what you're doing. And that's exactly what's happening. But we don't have that conversation, right? Because it's not the same thing. Absolutely, it's the same thing. That's like buying boxing gloves for somebody who abusing a woman. Hello. That's what you're doing. It's like giving, if somebody get drunk, that they become abusive, it's like giving them the money for the alcohol. That's what you're doing, so they can abuse some more. So when you support these elected officials and these leaders, see, because it's another thing. People want to get away with this. Oh, well, you support a certain leader or influencer. No, see, this is not a difference of opinion or politics when it comes to some of these elected officials. You just are simply supporting the oppressor. and the attacker. That's what you're doing. So let's be clear about it. Now, if you want to continue to do that, that's your choice. But that's exactly what you're doing. It's like giving money, giving drugs, giving alcohol to someone that you know, when they get this in their system or whatever they need to abuse somebody else, that's what you're doing. And that's what we have here. That's exactly what's going on. You continue to support these people. It is one thing to have a difference of political opinion in a position. It's another thing for you to see the destruction that these people are causing, and you continue to support them. You have a duty and a responsibility as well to do better. Otherwise, I don't want to hear your complaints. Because what they are doing right now is far worse. It's far worse than just having a difference of a political opinion. All that I'm saying. Now, if you're okay with that, then I respect that. I'm just saying, let's not make up any excuses, right? Let's not make up any excuses to further support people who have an agenda to destroy our community. That means that people in our community have an agenda to destroy our community because you support it as well. You see what's going on over there in District 4 with Letitia Johnson? So you have Tucson Knight, who's on the literature with ML Elric, black man. So he supported him. But we weren't never surprised about that. And you got Board of Police Commissioner Willie Bell supporting ML Elric too. Now he know good and doggone well Letitia been doing the work. And he gonna support ML Elric. Okay. See, you know he gonna support ML over Letitia. Well, he can't be mad when black folks support Scotty Bone over him. Fair exchange is no robbery. Scotty might be a white man, but what can Willie Bell say? Scotty is out here. Now, Scotty really is out here in the community. I never heard people talk about ML Elric being such a great community person until they wanted to justify supporting him over Letitia Johnson, who's been doing the work. I'm just saying Letitia has been doing the work. ML has done his work too in journalism. We're talking about really being engaged with the community. So Willie Bell, the Board of Police Commissioners, a resident of District 4 who knows good and well the work and the qualifications that Letitia Johnson, she really does. She is more qualified for the job. Now that's the truth, okay? Than ML Elric. Boy, look at them black men. They just can't wait. That's what look at that. Look at that. You other black men, you real ones who be out here standing true to the cause, y'all should just shake your head, because y'all just can't move them brothers out of the way, can you? There's rotten apples in every bunch. We just can't have solidarity around here. You got those out there, ooh, they get big mad at me about talking about that leprechaun. Ain't that something? They get so mad, and you shouldn't say that, and you know, you seem angry. Why you not angry? I'm angry because you're not angry. That's why I'm angry. I'm angry because you're not angry, because you don't do nothing. You want to talk about me being hard, that's only because you soft all throughout the middle. And that's the truth, though. It is. They don't want to stand up and do a thing. You want to sit here and you want to enable this bull crap. How you think that look? Again, they cutting off the water. Nope, shouldn't be angry about our seniors and our women and children not having access to water. Nope, shouldn't be angry about that. Meanwhile, we supplementing the cost of water for these rich white men downtown. No, that's not enough to be angry. That is not enough to be, it's not enough. That's not enough to be angry, on top of knowing that these water shutoffs are causing an increase in hepatitis A and lead going into our people's bodies, right? It comes into the homes and it's coming into the school system. That's not enough to be angry about. It's not enough to be angry that you have a system of majority of white people who don't live here, right? And black people who have just really lost their way, and they have just lost their rabbit's minds, and they support this type of garbage, right? It's not enough to be angry about them supporting the fact that black businesses have had their businesses stolen from them, okay, because of this administration. It's not enough to be angry on top of that about people losing their homes, having them ripped away from them unjustly and illegally. That's not, because that's their house. You know how you go and you turn, that's their home. That's not enough to be angry about. It's not enough to be angry to know that there have been federal dollars allocated to help people save their homes, and it was taken away and handed over to some suburban contractors who don't even help us, and developers who don't give real meaningful development in our neighborhood. Now, that's okay. That's not enough. All of this happening at the same time. Now, keep that in mind. It's not enough for you black men to be angry and to stand up and to take some of the responsibility and the burden off of us, right? While you sitting at the table, always, all you doing is feeding your faces. You don't even take home a carry out. You know how sometimes when you go someplace, you have a lot of food, you know, left over. You be like, you know what? I'll see somebody homeless. I'm going to give this out on the street. See, you don't even want to bring us back a carry out container. You don't, because you're greedy and selfish. So let me continue. It's not enough for you to be angry to know that we got $1 billion on the table. We're not getting anything out of it. Okay, that's number 8. It's not enough to be angry to know that a lot of our people in the community, including women, are cutting grass, maintaining abandoned lots in homes, and it's men and women who do it in the neighborhoods, and to try to acquire the land for a measly $100, and then all of a sudden the land isn't available and they go give it to some investor out of state. That's not enough, because you know that's called free labor. Take us back to what? Damn near slavery. I'm just saying. They abusing you for your labor, and they gonna take advantage of you, and you not gonna get nothing out of it. That's damn near like slavery. Okay, that's not enough to piss you off either, right? It's not enough to piss you off to know that you had a black man named Magic Johnson who already had the capital, the investment, and the vision to do something with the state fairgrounds for years, and you let this nickel slick leprechaun come in here and hold him off and play this game. Only gave him 16 acres, turned around and sold it to Ross Perot's company down in Texas. That ain't enough to be angry, because it was a black man involved in negotiating that deal. He ain't angry either, because he's still supporting Duggan too, right? That's not enough to be angry. Then before you sold it, you wouldn't even allow for some black developers to even get 15 acres out of the 150 something that you were selling. That's not enough to be angry about. It's not enough for you to be angry that they gonna take $50 million and put it into extending a river walk. Fool, when you just let these doggone illers just walk away with all of this money, right? With all of this debt for Joe Louis Arena. That's not enough for you to be angry about, instead of investing it into your neighborhoods that you've been complaining about how we need some investment in our neighborhood. Hello, there's your investment. It's not enough to be angry that your sidewalks are crumbling and other things, and they want to give you more streetscapes. They're stupid. The way that they design them, they are. They give you that, but they won't invest into your neighborhood. That's not enough for you to be angry about. I'm on number 11. I'm going to just keep going, because all of this is happening at the same time, okay? It's not enough to be angry that contracts and jobs come into this city, and they're continuously telling you, and I mean both the mayor and the majority of city council, about how these deals to take away your public dollars and to hand over these benefits and these subsidies to these developers, right? And these contractors And it doesn't result in our people getting jobs, which means that decreases our chances of having sustainable communities, right? This all a game. Like they just doing it right there in front of your face. And they continuously just keep awarding these contracts to these people who have zero interest in improving the quality of life in our community, right? That's not enough to be angry about. It's not enough for you to be angry that you have a super majority of appointees, including the mayor downtown, and don't even live in this city or not from this city. But the only time that they came here is when they could benefit off of your dollars in this city. That's not enough. When you know, even though you could say what you want, from Coleman to Archer to Crazy Bean to Kwame to all of them, we've always held the super majority of Detroiters, not new residents, Detroiters, to hold those positions down there at City Hall, but not no more. See, that's not enough. See, when you take away these jobs, you take away opportunity, you take away access to economic resources and a sustainable income. That's what you take away. Sustainability and a strong foundation. That's what you take away. That's not enough to be angry about. Because see, when you mess with that dollar, you mess with that power too. Trust and believe. Right? That's not enough for you to be angry about. I just, well, what the hell? But you get angry at me for being angry. Now that's something. None of that stuff I just named is enough for you to be angry about. How they playing you like the fool. But you get angry about me being angry. Process that. That's what you get mad about. You get mad because I tell the truth. You don't like the way I say it. You're not going to change that, though. That's a conversation everybody should just really stop having, because you're not going to change that. It's too late. It's just too late. If that's what bothers you, you should be unbothered. But you angry at me for being angry about the injustice and the travesty of justice that's intentionally plaguing our community. That's what you mad about. Now that's interesting to me, especially when I hear Black men having a problem with it. The way that we support you, when they get out here killing you, knocking you upside your head, when they come and take your businesses and everything, it's a majority of sisters out here standing strong for you. How dare you? How dare you? When they take advantage of you and disrespect you, it's the majority of us. You need to think about that before you get angry about me being angry. I am angry about it. And I should be. You know why? I'm just as angry as Harriet Tubman was. That's why she had a gun. But you talked about, I know they talked about her too. You know, probably talk about how she not ladylike enough and all of that, because she had a gun trying to get you to get to freedom. Let's just go down. Ida B. Wells wasn't soft with it either. And you know Fannie Lou damn sure wasn't. But you sing all they praises now, don't you? You always wait till somebody dead. Probably because in the back of your mind, that's what you're hoping for. That's how weak you are. It's not that women like me are too strong. It's just that y'all too soft all throughout the middle. And that's the problem. Now, the rest of you brothers who be standing with us, I appreciate you. I do. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate how you are fearless, how you are the epitome of what Black men should be, protectors of, you know, the women and children in your community. I appreciate that. And you just don't talk about it, you be about it. So thank you all for being what you should be. We appreciate that. The rest of you, go look in the mirror and change yourself before you come trying to change me and other sisters like me. That's what you should do. You should work on you. We all got some work to do, but that's where you should start, is working on you, because that's a problem. You got Black men over here standing against a Black sister who has done the work and who is more qualified. Boy, That's sad. That's sad. That is sad. Now, you know, it would be different if ML was like a Russ Balak who been out here in the community, really has been doing the work, understands the policies, the inequities that plague our community. That's just not ML Elric. And it's sure enough not Tucson. It's not. And if what I'm hearing is true about these attacks that are being launched against Letitia by these two men, that's sad. That's sad. That's sad that would be allowed to go on. All y'all over there in District 4, all y'all around there, period, should be standing up against that. That's sad. If that's true. If that's true. I'm sure hearing that it is. But I don't have a piece of literature, but I think Tucson is on there. I don't know. Maybe Willie Bell is on there with him too. So we just gonna get on the literature. Boy, get on the white train. I told y'all about Mike Duggan. For me, it's not just that he's a white mayor of a majority black city. I just say out of all the white men you had to choose, did you have to choose that one? What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? This is sickening. And then, like I say, you get so up in arms about this party politics, but then you support those who support it. I'm not understanding that. And choose the decision. Listen, when you vote, I think you should vote in your best interest. I really do. I think you should vote in your best interest. I guess what I'm trying to understand is what's your reasoning behind this? You support those who support those that you say are poison. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's how you really feel. I think that that's a very selective, right? It's not that, you know what the problem is? The problem is what I've always been saying. We don't have a black political apparatus to give us real directive and to direct us. I mentioned yesterday, let's see what these organizations going to do about these endorsements. Let's see what they're going to do, because see, your endorsement says is a reflection of your mission and the vision of your organization. So let's see. See, you can't say that you for black justice, equity, and advancement, and you support those who suppress it. Now, I'm just telling you. You can't. Now, you can have relationships and be friends with people who may not be aligned with your politics. But what I'm saying is that when you have an organization, you're supposed to have a mission and a vision. And so what are the principles? You're saying the principles and the values of your organization, but you support those who don't reflect that. See how that work out. See how that work out. Because listen, I don't expect for y'all to remove one and give it to the next person who actually gonna support those values, because we know you're not gonna do that. I know for me, y'all probably skip over me and go make somebody else up, and that's fine too, because we still gonna do the work. Because you don't, a lot of them probably don't have that kind of courage or backbone, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is we keep tolerating it, and we support these organizations, and we support the elected officials who go against what we say that we want and what we stand for. I swear. I think this is why we're losing, because the opposition, including all whoever they may be, right? They see that. Because one thing about, let's talk about party politics again, about the Republican Party, they stay so focused. Like, their values are always their values. It doesn't matter what they're doing personally, right? Okay. But if you compromise the values and the mission, they don't deal with you anymore. We always trying to make somebody into something that they not. You know, one thing about being a Democrat, the higher up you go in office, the more of a target you become. You don't become more of a target when you start crossing party lines. You become more of a target in the Democratic Party the higher up you go, because they'll assassinate you quicker than they did Bin Laden. I'm telling you. But when it comes to taking down them Republicans, no, they slow to move. They are slow to move. They are. Why are we so quick to take down one of our own on the Democratic side? And then we allow the Republican Party just to continue. That's kind of dangerous. What will that do to us being able to make sure that we continue to have strong leadership in the pipeline? Because who wants to go through all of that just to be the main target? We supposed to be working together. Just a thought. Now, you didn't took out Como and others, John Conyers, everybody. Boy, but the Republicans still standing. We need to do something about that. We need to stay a little bit more focused on advancing the policies that we say that we want. But I won't get all off into that. But I wish, this is what I wish. I wish that our community, just getting back here into Detroit, that we can establish some standards, right? And some protocol and just stick to it. Like, can we clearly define who the opposition is or the enemy? Because sometimes I think the lines are blurred. Now, is it about the person or is it about their behavior? Because if it was more about that behavior, it would be easier to define who the opposition and who the enemy is. But too often we want to have this selective process. And see, the opposition doesn't have the selective process. Like, we always want to bring the enemy to the table who we know in opposition of what we working for, right? But they don't do that to us. They never bring, the only time they're going to bring the opposition to the table is if they know that the opposition is compromised and they can get the opposition on their team. But here we go. We just be a chinning and a grinning. I'm waiting for somebody to just start tap dancing one day. Just a chinning and a grinning when these folks come around. You welcome them with open arms. Can for once we just establish what the opposition and the enemy is and stand on it? Can we just stand on it? I'm not telling you you have to. I'm not saying go and do something to the people. I'm just saying when it comes to taking care of business and having values and standards, can we identify that they are not aligned with us and govern ourselves accordingly? Because when they go into these meetings and to these rooms, they are not representing your best interests and they're not going to let you in. Right? Why we can't treat them like they treat us? Now listen, think about this. When you have these so-called leaders and influencers siding with the Mike Duggans of the city of Detroit, right? When they go in there, they know what Mike Duggan has done to you and your community, and they support him anyway, which means that they don't care, right? They don't care about your quality of life. They don't even respect you. So why do you give them so much respect and care so much about how somebody treats them? But I don't know if we're willing to do that. And I'm not just talking about anybody who supports the mayor. What I'm saying are those who have used you to build up a following and influence others. Think about that. Those who you pay in to sabotage your best interests. Why is that so hard to just break away? Going back to Harriet, that's why it was so hard for them Black folks to break away from slavery. Psychologically, we have some issues that probably need to be addressed, but I just don't understand it. And if you want it both ways, That's okay with me too. You just should be able to say that. But the problem is there's not a clear path to where we're going or where what we want. This is why this is going to be such a come next year. Oh my goodness. This gubernatorial election is going to be a mess. With Chief Craig in there, this is going to be a mess. Some black folks not going to know what to do. They not. They're going to want, because they like Chief Craig and they're going to want to support him and they're going to want a black governor. And then they're going to be torn because they dedicated to the Democratic Party. And then other black people are more dedicated to the Democratic Party and the value system that they see being a value system and supporting Gretchen Whitmer because she's the Democratic candidate. But if you had a clear vision on your standards and what you would believe in, it wouldn't be such a hard decision. And what did they say the other day? James Craig is now only 1 point down from away from Gretchen Whitmer. It's only a 1 point difference. Hey, that's dangerous. Now that's kind of quick, but you know, these things can change. And I don't know who they polled. You know what I say about these, but I don't know who they polled. I don't know. But if that's true, think about it. James Craig only 1 point away from Gretchen Whitmer. That's something. That's something. How did he get there so fast? And they said only 9%. 9% of the people that they polled, they were supporting James Craig. They were black and supporting James Craig. So I don't know how many Detroiters or black people that they polled all together, but only 9% were black. 1% away from Gretchen Whitmer. Now, some of y'all didn't like Chief Craig anyway, but it's some people who love Chief Craig. And then they got mad talking about, I didn't know he was a Republican. Because I know, because you don't want to believe Duggan won either. Stop this. You know, some things I know that some of us who are a lot more engaged in this political landscape understand and are aware of than others. But you're going to tell me that you don't know Mike Duggan is a Republican. I just find that hard to believe that you don't know that. Especially the more seasoned voters. I just find it hard to believe that you don't know Mike Duggan, a Republican. And now I guess I wasn't aware. Let me say this. I wasn't aware of how many Detroiters didn't realize how Trump was singing Chief Craig's praises, how he was on the cover of the magazine of the NRA, how he was on Fox News. And I don't mean local Fox too. You know, I'm talking about that other Fox News. I guess a lot of people didn't realize that. And I didn't know that because I'm thinking, I didn't understand the shock value in the story that Chief Craig was a Republican. I thought we just all knew. So, you know, I was not all, but I thought the majority of people, a lot of people who said that they didn't realize that, I was surprised. But then it makes me think, do we just have our blinders on because we don't want to believe it? You know, let me tell you something. Now, I'm going to just speak for black folks. Now, you know, we will be blind to something so we could justify our behavior, our decisions, and our support of somebody. Now, we will put the blinders on. Now, we have a tendency to do that. Okay. So, you know, you're going to see what you want to see, that part of it, right? But for me, I appreciate somebody saying who they are instead of just hiding. I appreciate that. Right? Like, I'd appreciate if some of these council people come out and just make a statement. And why don't you apologize to the people for your behavior? Do you realize that Gabe Leland stepped down and he said it's with a heavy heart that he gonna have to leave? He never once apologized for his behavior, to what he did to the citizens. Not one time. He didn't even apologize. And you had folks over there at some of the community meetings talking about how they gonna miss Gabe and everything. I said, you know what, from sugar to just think about it. Now, what these other two gonna do next Tuesday? Forget the last two. What these other three gonna do? Because Andre Spivey, where is your apology? Now we know that these other two, Ayers and Benson, they didn't just raided their house and their offices and their chief of staff houses and offices. I'm just saying. Right? Andre Spivey, where your apology? Because I read these articles and what you said was, I thought that everything was taken care of because you had been cooperating for the last 15 months. And to my understanding, didn't I read that he started paying back some of the money, the rest of the money, the bribery money? He started making arrangements to pay that back. So he thought, not one apology about how you have disrespected the citizens of Detroit and how you have mistreated them. Not one. But I don't think it should take for an FBI investigation, is what I keep saying. All of them who are communicating in an entanglement with the FBI, their behavior is treacherous to Detroiters. That should be your statement. That's what you should be apologizing for. Guess we're not going to get that. It's something when somebody exposed for doing something to you, and then they're going to keep taking your money because everybody's still getting paid except for Gabe, but he held on long as he could. The rope on the life preserver was just like threads, right? Wasn't even a whole rope anymore. He was still holding on, taking that last penny from y'all folks over there in District 7. Now you got 3 more who are going to do the same thing. No apology. That lets you know what they think of you. No apology. You don't think you should apologize to the people of Detroit? You don't think you should apologize for $1 billion, almost $1 billion being on the table? And you didn't even put one line item in there to provide some of these folks some relief. And their house is still reeking of sugar honey iced tea because it stank. You don't think that, huh? You don't think that you should apologize for how you have been so dismissive and unconcerned when you had the power, the opportunity, and the resources to help improve the quality of life of Detroiters, right? It wouldn't have cost you a thing. It would have been you doing your job. And instead, you wanted to satisfy corporate interests and your own personal interests. You don't think that you should apologize to the citizens of Detroit. What's that going to make you? Weak? No, because your weakness has been showing. We're not even worth that to you. We're not even worth that to you to at least make a statement to apologize. Boy, only here in the city of Detroit that we tolerate this type of treatment. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be interesting to hear public comment next week. And then you turn around. Let me ask you something else. I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. We can have community events, large community events sponsored by elected city officials, both in the mayor and in the council's office, right? We can have festivals, right? We can have outdoor yoga. We can have roller skating outdoors. We can have indoor events like fundraisers and stuff like that. But council can't come back in person. How is it that we're going to continue to pay a council that's invisible and a mayor that, well, y'all elected an invisible mayor, so I can't even go to that. But how is it that we're going to continue to pay an invisible council? What other cities are still virtual in the state of Michigan? Can somebody go to the Southfield City Council for me and take a look at their page and tell me if they're meeting virtually? Go to Bloomfield or go to Troy. Go somewhere out there in the suburbs. Tell me, are they meet? Because I thought Royal Oak was meeting in person. That's why the folks that put the man in the hospital, remember, because they was really fighting. Are they still meeting virtually? Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all of these city governments are meeting virtually. But I just think this is a plan just to hide these folks. They don't want to see us. But they want to take your money, but they don't want to see us. You right, Joy. Listen, I was just corrected. Mike Duggan is not invisible. He does keep showing up for ribbon cuttings. That is absolutely correct. I stand corrected. See, I was wrong. That is so true. He does keep showing up for ribbon cutting. He won't show up for a debate now. And he won't show up to come and talk to y'all, but he show up for that. That's true. That's true. That is so true. But I just want to know that. Are these other cities meeting virtually? Because now our city council is going to meet virtually until the end of the year. So you mean to tell me we got 4 city council people that's not coming back and we not going to ever see them again before they leave? That's some bull crap. We not going to see them in session. We going to pay them all the way up until the end without seeing them. Redford Township is in person twice a month. Twice a month. Okay, that's Redford. Y'all keep it coming. Oh, Southfield is still virtual. Okay. Now look up the other ones. Look up Royal Oak and like Bloomfield and Troy. Well, look up a bigger city. So look up like Troy and Macomb. What they doing? That's what I want to know. What they do. Why we can't come back in session? Why don't they want to see us? You don't like us? Are you afraid of us? Is that what it is? But you're going to take our money. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. That's something. That is really something. Until the end of the year. So I guess maybe we going out of sight, out of mind. Because this virtual stuff is killing us. Right. Too many might show up. I don't know. Because I still think you're going to be able to social distance. Still. You'll still be able to social distance because you know how big the auditorium is. And some people just not going to show up. All right, let's take a caller. Good morning. Welcome to the Nicole Small Show. Hello. Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
It's not that it's just not that about COVID. It's about they just don't want to look at people and listen at the truth, and they don't want the truth to be told to them.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, so they just want to cut us off on that 1 minute if they give you that.
Right, and just like they don't want to bounce that, you know, and even the city council president, she don't want to have nothing to say because people are going to be asking, why are you letting 3 people sit? Regardless whether or not they've been charged, like I told the other day, it still ain't smelled. It still ain't passing the smell test.
That's true. I mean, well, listen, you can't make them step down, but can somebody at least bring the motion to the table to suspend the privileges? Oh, okay. They saying Bloomfield still virtual. Y'all look at Troy. Look at Troy and Macomb, the larger cities, and let me know.
Majority of the councils I meet, okay, and our place is bigger than a lot of them places.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to see what a large city doing.
They just don't want to face Detroit. Let's just face it.
But you know what? I do believe, you know, if you
sit over here, let them do it.
Well, so let me say this. Number one, people need to be careful because if we always complain about how city council sits there and says nothing, right? about what's taking place and all of these folks under investigate. We talked about how they let Gabe sit up there for 3 years. Now they're going to let these other ones sit up there until the end of the year, right? And if you have a problem with that, then you too should have a problem with any candidate not saying anything about it. This is about the lack of integrity that is within the whole city council, within our city government. This is the lack of accountability and transparency. And so if you don't say anything about that as an elected official sitting on council, if you don't say anything about it as a candidate running, then that means that if you're elected, you're going to do the same thing and sit there and be silent. And so to your point about council president and about the rest of them, somebody needs to bring, she can't bring the motion to the table. She can ask, does anybody want to bring the motion to the table? But somebody needs to bring the motion to the table to suspend the privileges. It doesn't matter whether it passes or not. That is your job, not to make friends, but it's your job to represent the best interests of the people of Detroit. And we got the FBI is too heavily involved in city council business because they brought them here.
Well, let me just say this. You think the hell they ain't talking to each other while all this was going on? They are talking to each other. Okay? All these city council people are talking to each other.
Yeah.
And the thing is that don't you think somebody that made mention about, well, don't you think we ought to talk about it? And all of them decided, no, if we don't say nothing, folks ain't gonna bring it up. My thing is this: Tuesday, when they come for public opinion, everybody should bring that up. That somebody need to talk about this. We don't want to hear nothing about no business because you ain't doing a damn thing no way. We want to hear what you gonna say about this. What are you going to do about this?
Wow. Listen, somebody just posted Troy has been in person since April the 26th of this year. See, that's one of those larger cities. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
And our public health department said it was okay. I wonder why we need to do something. Now, if we need to protest, we need to go to court and make them. This is the citizen. We got a right to meet in person.
You know what? I never thought about that. You know what? I never thought about that. You know what? I wonder, has anybody reached out to Dana Nessel as well? Because she has some. Well, you know what? Let me just shut up about that. Okay. We already see what influence she had over that proposal P. I don't know. But that's a good idea. I agree with you. And this is another thing. Where are all of these so-called attorneys that we have? Can somebody let us know, like, legally, what can we do to make them come back in session? Because I'm gonna tell you, we're not gonna have that many people show up. It'll be enough room for only 2 people to sit in every row if they want to. So that this has nothing to do with the pandemic, and everybody can keep their mask on. But they need to come back in person. We need to see them.
Right.
This being able to hide is garbage. And if you gonna hide, then they need to cut their salary.
Right.
Then they need to cut their salary.
The courts are open. The courts are open for certain cases.
That's right.
Now you know how little the courtrooms are. Now, if they open it to social distance, damn it, we can too for this week.
That's a good point.
Everybody have a good morning.
You too. Thank you. That's a good point. I didn't even think about the courts being open and how small it is. I mean, but that auditorium is huge. They can open back up. You're not even going, even if you open back up for 2. Did somebody say, you know what? Who is this? You think Raquel is in Mexico? Y'all so crazy. Listen, but Raquel probably would show up. I'm assuming that she's one of the people who would be in support of coming back in session. Just a thought. I don't know. I could be wrong, but they won't even have 2 council sessions a month. If it's a committee of the whole every Tuesday, you mean to tell me you can't even bring back some of the in-person sessions? This is some crap. This is some crap. I'm telling you, they need to be made to come back in person. Because you know what? You want to do all of that dirt, and now that the fire is hot, you want to run and hide. You are a publicly elected official. Show up. Show up. That's what you're supposed to do. Show up. Now, what are they going to do? They can't run a campaign in hot. Well, I don't know. But I don't think they should run a campaign in hiding, right? 2 out of the 3 are still campaigning. You're going to have to show up at some point. Now, see, that's going to be on the voters. If you don't make these folks show up in person somewhere and you still going to vote them in, that's crazy. But you know what I'm finding out? Some of them have never seen some of these people ever in life. And I keep asking them, well, why are you supporting somebody that you've never seen in life and they've already been elected? It's different if this was just their first time out or something. Yeah, he probably will keep them on a close leash. You're right, until November the 3rd, Ayers and Benson. You know what? That's probably when they will come out after the election. Duggan probably already has made his, given his directive around that. That very well could be true. But I want you to think about it. We lost 1 and we're about to lose 3 more because it's 4 that are not returning. We're not going to be able to see these people hold session in person anymore ever. Ever, never. And we're going to keep paying these full salaries. They don't answer the phone, some of them. They're non-responsive. Well, let me ask you something. If the FBI is just investigating, that doesn't mean that you can't speak to the other person. They can still talk to each other. It's the ones who, wait a minute, how does that work? Do you have to be charged and then you can't speak to each other? But if you just under investigation, you can speak to each other. Because then that means if Spivey can't speak to his chief of staff, that means if it's just about investigation, I don't think that that's true. I don't know. But I think they can still speak to each other. Because that would mean Spivey can't speak to his chief of staff. Janae can't speak to her chief of staff. And then that means Scott can't speak to his chief of staff. And you know he need Carol. He need Carol like a lifeline. I wonder how that works. Nobody's been charged with anything. Spivey said that he was cooperating. I don't know. Well, they can't operate. You can't talk to your chief of staff. Then that means they're not supposed to speak to each other. Now, you know this is getting to be a bit messy now. I didn't think about all of that, but this is really getting to be a bit messy. If that's true. I don't think that that's true. That couldn't be true because how would they operate? How would they operate? You know what? We're not getting nothing done for us anyway down there. So from any of those people. So it's probably not going to make that bit of a difference. But okay, so Spivey and Daddy. So what does he do? Can he fire his chief of staff? That's what I'm saying. If you can't communicate with your chief of staff, like how does that work? Do you keep a chief of staff on payroll that you can't communicate with at the expense of taxpayers? Is that how that works? But then how would he terminate his chief of staff for what cause? Because it's Spivey who committed the act as well, right? So can you terminate somebody who reports to you? You know, we got to get an attorney on here. And we're going to have to ask these questions. Because now I'm all confused and I didn't think about that before. I don't know what grounds that he would be able to take. You can't be the person who committed the same act and then you terminate somebody else for that act. I don't know. This all the way all over the place. And you know what? I don't even know. So you saying now why there's an FBI investigation going on? No, he can't. So you gonna tell me that we paying the chief of staff, the part of your role Oh, you can terminate for call. So you telling me, Anthony, can you call me? So you telling me that you can terminate your chief of staff because you probably directed them to commit a crime and you committed the crime too. You know what? This a mess. Then that mean the chief of staff gonna probably sue the city. What? Then you would need to step down too. I don't know about that. I really don't. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Like, if Spivey is the elected official who hired a chief of staff, Spivey is indicted of a crime. Person A, staff person A, which is the chief of staff, is the person who is also of interest, right? But Spivey is the one who is giving a directive to staff person A, which is the chief of staff. I don't know if he could terminate him, but this is what I really want to know. How are we paying for a chief of staff whose roles and responsibility clearly states that you're supposed to report to the council person, which means you have to have communication, right? And they're supposed to give you directives. But now you're going to tell me you can't have any communication with that person and they still going to collect a check? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Oh, hold on. I had my ringer off. Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay, explain this because I'm all the way confused.
Okay, so the existence of an investigation doesn't prohibit you from doing anything. You can talk to whoever you want to talk to. The risk that you run is that the person may be wearing a wire for the FBI, and then you further implicate yourself, which at that point you start getting into what they call obstruction of justice issues.
Mm-hmm.
But he's free to fire, terminate any employee in his office. Now, the fact that he's been charged and his employee has not been charged, I think will ultimately be decided, by court. But I don't think he would really have any exposure, given the fact that the employee somehow knows has been implicated in criminal wrongdoing himself.
Okay, but only Spivey, only the council person has been charged, not his chief of staff. So,
that's correct.
Okay, so therefore,
he can do whatever he wants to do.
He can do whatever he want to do, right? But he can't.
Exactly.
But if he terminated him, like, how would he just? Wouldn't the chief of staff have a good lawsuit?
You always have a lawsuit, but whether or not it goes anywhere remains to be seen.
I'm just wondering, like, how can you terminate me for something that you told me to do or that you did yourself? But okay.
Well, we don't really know who told what and how this all turned out.
Yeah, we just assuming, but I'm assuming that I'm right on this one. I'm assuming that it's the council person who came up with this genius idea, not the chief of staff. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, there's another situation that's on the table that I would say probably was the chief of staff that came up with the idea. But in this situation, I don't think that that's the case. But I'm just assuming it has not been proven yet. It has not been proven yet. Okay, so
let's let the facts play out.
Yeah, let's let the facts play out. Okay, so it's because the chief of staff has not been charged. Thank you so much for calling in.
No problem.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, so if you wear a wire, you can get a nonprofit. You know what, Elena, you crazy. If you wear a wire, you can get a nonprofit. That is how it goes in this town, isn't it? Because I'm waiting for Gabe to come up with his. I'm going to tell you, Gabe not done. You better believe that. He going to resurface. I truly believe that he is going to resurface. Okay, so it makes sense. Because the staff person has not been charged, there can still be clear communication with the council person and that staff person. Okay. Which definitely means that, to my point, I definitely felt that the other two, Benson and Ayers, should still be communicating, because I know that they weren't charged with anything. All right. So you're going to get the same out of them that you were getting before. But that's a tricky situation with Councilman Spivey and his chief of staff. That's not good. I wonder how many people have been able to reach their councilman. That's another thing. Like, if you call, is he returning calls? Is he still doing his job? Because that's a lot of pressure on you. What about the chief of staff? That's a lot on somebody. But I haven't heard about anybody taking a sabbatical or taking a medical. They still there collecting your money. Something to think about. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next Tuesday. And when they return from recess, city council, and they'll probably just pretend like business as usual. You know, they don't owe us anything. They don't owe us. Let's see if we get a statement from either party. You know, of course, they're going to say that they're innocent. They haven't done anything. We know that part. But are you going to apologize for your treatment of the people? Period. That's just what I want to know. Are you going to make a sincere apology? Probably not, because I know you're not going to resign, so that's not going to happen. Now, you know, we don't have that type of integrity on the council. That'll never happen. We're going to ride this wave, and we're going to take advantage of the people and their money into the end, until the brakes fall off. Now, that's how they'll ride with you until the brakes fall off, taking advantage of you. That's what they'll do, okay? Not to support you, though. Never that. All right, so we will be back here again Monday at 8 o'clock. So don't forget, September the 11th, you could go, it's a Facebook event. You could purchase tickets. I'll start posting the people that you could get tickets from. You could reach out to for a jazzy afternoon, again, with Sky Covington. Ladies, I'll be announcing an event that I'm going to have September the 18th for women, empowered women. It'll be an event Saturday, September the 18th. It'll be 10 o'clock, a brunch. So I'll be posting those details later. But again, September the 11th, the tickets are only $20. I'll post the people's names for September the 11th, a jazzy afternoon. It will be outdoors. We're going to have a really good time. Come on, help us raise this money so we could get this mailer going. I appreciate all of you. Have a great day. Have a great week, and be safe. Talk to you soon.